Death Pixie Disclaimer. This video was originally recorded in March and April of 2025. There is swearing and profanity. Sources are listed in the description. This video is not monetized. Any ads you see provide revenue to the hosting site and not the creators. If you made it this far, geez, you have a lot of patience.
Dance Pixie dancing on the lip of madness.
Welcome to Shitty PowerPoint Theater. Dignity not included.
Hello, I'm Justin Trudeau, and I would like to announce the next Prime Minister of Canada will be revealed right here in this presentation. I don't speak for the Liberal Party anymore, but I just want to tell Chrystia Freeland to suck it. Suck the big, long, true dong.
Oh my god, that was amazing. All right, guys, this is our big announcement. In the coming weeks, you're going to be getting our mandate and platform videos. We're going to have website updates happening in the next few weeks as well for this. This is the culmination of our project, which is awesome. I know you're all like, well, won't you continue to do the prime ministers? Yeah, we'll get together. We'll keep doing the prime ministers because it's fun for us.
We want to do everybody.
Yeah, and I did promise little Crabsworth Nathan over here. He gets to compare platforms and mandates, which is a baller of a time.
Oh God, I am waiting. I am waiting on bated breath for any party platform to come out that is not the Conservatives.
Yeah. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So our big announcement is Death Pixie is going political, and a long-standing character, a stage name I've performed under, we're bringing her back. It's Regina Dentata running for prime minister with Trapdoor Crabsworth as lead advisor, but we'll hold you on bated breath for his official title.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
You gotta see this. You gotta see this.
So everything in the last episode, that's where all of when you start going through our mandate videos and stuff that are going to be coming out in the next few weeks over April and May, all of that was the basis for what we created. If you love our zero budget AI art that we use, remember, we do not make money from this. We do not make money from this. You will see a platform filled with AI images of our amazing visions for this grand, grand country.
Hell yeah!
So, moving on, let's get into it.
We would also like to say, if we did have money, this would all be done by actual artists.
It would be.
Do not use AI. Do not use AI unless you have zero budget.
Yeah.
I just realized
like having fun.
I just realized that the Canada Goose has like a gun adorned across its back.
Yep.
And I don't know, I'm on board with it.
We are militarizing the wildlife here. We are utilizing all of our resources. So what is a winning platform? These are the burning questions, and this is what we have found. You've got to have good boilerplate, a concise and understandable platform. Crabsworth has said it before, we'll say it again. We can all hate the Conservatives, but they have excellent boilerplate. Makes great headlines. It is nothing backing it up, and they have no plan. But it's easily digestible.
Hey, it is a beautiful boilerplate. If you have gone and looked at the 100 point, I shit you not, 100 point boilerplate of the Conservatives, the one thing you can say is that their boilerplate guy does not get enough credit for what they're able to do. I can remember saying to Miri, like, you were actually concerned that I was believing all of the BS from the Conservative Party. Like, you were genuinely concerned. And I'm like, no. You look at this boilerplate. Just look at it. It is wonderful because what kind of emotion can it elicit from you? That is what it's trying to do. And oh my god, it is the best at it. It is the best at it by a country mile. And if you are a left-wing party, you fucking need to hire the boilerplate guy. Pay him up the nose. I don't care. Use donations, damn it!
So, having good boilerplate, that's great, but you also have to make sure that the idea can be followed through on practically. So you gotta have
which we I did a dive on the Conservative Party platform, just in of itself before we were even looking to actually do this. And of the 100 points, I went through just at random, and there's probably more in there, but I don't want to go back. Maybe 3 of them are like, okay, you actually have a plan to do this.
Of 100.
Yeah.
So,
but 3%, it's better than 0%. I'll give you that. And People's Party of Canada, take notes. This is how you get 3% done.
yeah, so not just the good boilerplate, you gotta have the backing for it. You need to control your media narrative.
Yes.
This is why we've seen an increase in parties realizing you need a leader who speaks well, who presents well, who is personable, who gets along with world leaders. You need someone who is able to work with the media, not against the media. An alternative to this is to be very controlled in which media you talk to, which you see with conservatives quite a bit. They won't outright not do things, but they pick and choose who they talk to. And there's a reason for this, because they want to come off well. So it is all about controlling what you look like in the media.
Yeah, so say for example, hi, I'm Polly Pocket. I'm so excited to see who I'm going to be losing to. I mean, who my political opponent is. But I just want to say flat out, like, let's say for example, you're this beautiful hunk down in the South, and you don't want to look like an ogre because, every major media outlet will make you look like an ogre who eats babies simply because you are an ogre who eats babies. And then you have one media who doesn't necessarily do that. You are like, oh my god, I want to give all my time to the one that doesn't make me look like an ogre, just makes me look like a giant diaper. And then you think to yourself, well, this is going to make me come off so good to my supporters that isn't going to matter. So it's just going to mobilize me to vote. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Branding. Guess what, guys? We are in the age of branding. You need to have a clear brand. Colors, images, slogans, all of that. You gotta have a brand.
I'm Doug Ford, buck a beer.
You gotta flex Canadian these days.
I'm Stephen Harper. Nobody's more Canadian than me.
Well, I mean,
come along, little kitty.
We've got a goose riding a moose into battle to defend the border. I don't think we can flex Canadian much more than that.
You know what? That's fine. Don't hurt me, Mr. Moose. I'm just your friendly old Uncle Steve.
Make international friends. That was a big key point with Trudeau and where he left Canada off during the beginning of the tariff war. That turned out to position us very well economically because, not relying on one sole country for your exports and imports is actually a good thing.
Really?
Yeah, but
no.
Making friends, not burning bridges. If you are going to attack your opponent, you need to make it simple and ensure that even if they deny it, they look doubtful. Now, that is something that we learned from various different attack ads and political ads. So it's quite interesting.
Oh, man. Can we talk about one of my favorite ads of all time?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sweet. So there was this ad about, this was during Justin Trudeau's first electoral win. Okay. Now, the Conservatives generally do a really great job with attack ads. Like, like without question, they do a great job worth of attack ads. They did this wonderful messaging. Justin Trudeau, he's just not ready. It was beautifully terrible messaging. And then they go and fuck it all up. For one reason and one reason only. Trudeau used an ad to attack that image, and he did it masterfully. But more importantly, around the same time, the Conservatives overplayed their hand, and they had Stephen Harper, mind you, who is old and has been doing this for 8 years, come on with his creepy little ferret smile. And if you've ever owned or seen a ferret, you know exactly what I mean. He comes in like this. Hi, fellow kids. I'm Stephen Harper. You know, I love me my Netflix, and you can rest assured that when I am Prime Minister of Canada, the Netflix rises will not rise. Justin Trudeau is going to propose a whole bunch of new taxes that threaten the sanctity of my favorite streaming platform. So if you want to be with the cool PM. But it came off as so disingenuous. Like, you know the ad.
Yeah. Hello, fellow kids.
Hello, fellow kids.
Now,
it is my favorite ad of all time. And if people ask me, just not based off of any sort of facts and figures, what is an unequivocally good thing that Stephen Harper did, I will always go to that ad, because it is a literal example of what not to do. Because the thing is, you can't deny an ad that's stupid. You can't. And even if you did, everybody knows you're lying through your freaking teeth.
So big question is, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, I told you what we're gonna do. Death Pixie's going political, and we are pushing forward Regina Dentata because the name rhymes with fun.
Yeah.
And so, debuting. You're going to be seeing a wonderful section on our website. We're going to be introducing another website, which I want to keep under wraps. I'll be announcing that on Instagram. Vote Regina Dentata for Prime Minister. You've tried the best. Now try the reg. We are the Death Pixie Party, dancing on the lip of madness.
Yeah.
Now, I bet you're wondering, we don't do running mates in Canada. No, we don't. But
No.
we have advisors.
Yes, we do. Yeah!
So if you vote Regina Dentata, you're going to get Trapdoor Crabsworth. We are a 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah!
Tell me you don't want this metal-laden penguin.
I am sorry. I'm a war hero. Like, this is the greatest publicity photo I have ever taken in my life. Do you know it took precisely 45 hours to make me look this regal? We had several consultation sessions, and I said, not bedazzled enough. Then they come out with this!
It's brilliant. Now, I bet you're wondering, what is our platform? Well, we have mandate videos that are coming out. And here's a big thing, though, that I want to talk about before we jump into that, which is Trapdoor Crabsworth. True North, strong and free. An imperial bird of policy, literacy, and equity. He is eager to support the noble and talented Regina Dentata on her bid to become the first elected female Prime Minister of Canada, having been entrenched in accessibility, environmental, and economic policy from an early age. Crabsworth brings a bird's eye view on public issues, whilst ensuring that Regina Dentata's policy features the brevity of the Canadian moose, the majesty of the Canadian loon, and the collaborative approach of the noble Canadian beaver. With Crabsworth at her side, the Regina Dentata campaign promises to bring equity, justice, economy, and fun back to the greatest country in the world. And if that's not an advisor you want, I don't know what is.
I am very, very proud of that speech which I put together with no advisors, I might add.
Yeah. But
And
this is why we're going with this is why Reggie has Trapdoor Crabsworth. Trapdoor
absolutely.
Crabsworth is a one-stop shop.
Absolutely.
Now then, we've got our platform. Like I said, the platform videos are coming out, which are not going to be narrated by me. They will be narrated by Trapdoor, but they will be created by me using various free software. So we'll see what that looks like. Either way, you'll be entertained. We have Heads, a 5-step solution-focused plan. So let me bring it up. Healthcare.
Now, I think I can speak to every member of the Heads plan. Healthcare, we've seen it in our last video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it now. Healthcare is in any sort of indicator of human development that we have managed to get our hands on for research. Healthcare is of paramount importance. And we're not just talking about physical health here, we are talking about mental health as well. We are talking about the importance of Fuck You Thursday. We are talking about the importance of just overall, in general, making this world healthier for Canadians. You all have seen it. You all are worried. You all are sick. We've seen global pandemics in our time. It is time to make healthcare a federal mandate.
Education.
Education, again, we've seen a lot of things in relation to education and its vehicle for not only social well-being but for societal well-being. We have talked at length about some of our greatest experiences within the school system, and we're not just talking about, say, revolutionizing the way the announcements are done by adding in PA systems to schools so that they can effectively play Johnny Cash's Burnin' Ring of Fire. We are not talking about just the ball pit fund. We are talking about a basic literacy top-up force that ensures a wonderfully uncomplacent, free-thinking, creative visioned batch of tomorrow's youth to deal with tomorrow's problems. We are absolutely believing it is time to make education a federal mandate.
Now we have our trifecta for A.
Yes, so everybody knows the best part of any head is in the middle. Giving head, you know, when you're in the middle of it, that is almost the point of climax, which is why we have not only 3 things working at that time, but also because all of these things are paramount to Canadian lives. Affordability, it needs no explanation, but we're going to get it anyway. We are going to make the working world work for our wonderful Canadian constituents. Accessibility, we need services that can be accessible. Now, we are not talking about revolutionizing some provincial policies such as AODA. We are making sure that people have access to resources, and we're also ensuring not only affordability and accessibility, but accountability. Accountability with our leaders, accountability with our provincial premier compatriots. We are ensuring that every Canadian knows where their money is going, what they are working towards. We are aiming for that unified vision of Canada. Most importantly, with relation to all of those things, is the next point on heads: denial. Now, I know what you're thinking. Denial. Every politician has used that. No. We are looking for denial in the terms of ending corporate loopholes. Primarily, we are denying the requests of our friend from the South pretending to annex Canada under the guise of free speech. That is not free speech, that is an act of terrorism, and we will be taking our issues to the United Nations. We are levying a $1 trillion lawsuit against President Elon Musk, presidential puppet Karen Trump, and virtually none of the United States citizens. We are aiming for those corporations, and so help us. We will get to where we need to be. We are looking to put money in the pockets of Canadians by denying these corporate owned, puppeteered, oligarchical structures from not only invading our country, but also we are stopping them from even having the thoughts of annexation in their mouths. We will not take it. But denial is not only about annexation, it is also about denying rights of Canadians. Canadians have rights. Canadians have universally accepted both moral and legal rights as termed by our Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, a landmark piece of legislation that we feel needs to be updated, preserved, and protected. Finally,
and I want to say something. Our final
yes,
step, you know how we talk about having a flexible plan?
yes,
This is an example of that because we have two options depending on how things go.
yes, absolutely. Now, you may be asking yourself, before we get into either one of our plans, Squatter's Law or Zombie Horde, why do we have two? Well, quite frankly, it is because of a little issue in Canadian politics. The only person who really knows what the budget is the outgoing political party. They are the only ones who can really speak to what our Canadian financial state is. We know that one of these things is going to cost substantially less than the other. And we are well aware that Canadians strive for accountability. It is in our plan for a reason. Here's the thing. There are a lot of buildings that have gone abandoned. There are a lot of residences that have gone abandoned. We have a homelessness epidemic. Okay? Just flat out, we have a homelessness epidemic. I think I speak for everyone when I say it is time to really understand what a national definition of poverty and homelessness looks like. And what is the best way to combat that? Well, it's squatter's law, which I'm sure we're going to get into a little bit later. But this is a linchpin of the Regina Dentata campaign. One of the things when we talked with Regina in our original consultation, this is years ago, far before we ever started the whole research on prime ministers, was what was something that Regina wanted to do to better the lives of Canadians. She said she wanted to bring back squatter's law. Now, we took that vision and we expanded upon it, and you will see that in the videos that we have coming out as to what squatter's law actually looks like, what it is, and what protections are in there for you property owners. And I heavily stress we are going to have protections for individuals with property, not so much corporations, but individuals with property who are owning or renting property. Your rights will be protected and respected. We can guarantee that. Now, if for some reason we are left with some sort of windfall, each and every one of you, admit it, whether you like it or not, has a political figure to which you base your entire life around. Whether it be the honesty of Jack Layton, who has the fortitude to walk back even his most idiotic promises, whilst keeping the modern vision of the NDP alive. Whether it's the sexiness of Pierre Elliott Trudeau with that pimp hat, or whether it be the case of the Deef, who admittedly you don't want, but you just want to be there for the shade, because he is one of the cruelest, nastiest shade masters of all time. Zombie Horde is for you. And I don't think I need to go into detail as to what Zombie Horde actually looks like. I think each and every one of you can envision it right here, right now.
In short, raising the dead so the living may survive.
Absolutely.
Now, we're talking about imaging and branding next. So we got all these good ideas, but we need to package it.
Yes.
So you'll see the videos, but also First impressions are everything, so we need a good tagline. You saw ours. You've tried the best. Now try the wretch.
We would like to state, for the record, thank you to our good friend Dr. Nick Riviera for "You've tried the best, now try the rest." We took that and thought to ourselves, can we personalize it? Yes, we could. Regina is very happy with our campaign line.
Definitely. We have an independent candidate with the Death Pixie Party.
What does that mean? Quite frankly, it means that we are not owned by any corporate entity. We have stated for years, before we even got political, everything that you saw on Death Pixie would be free. And we speak to that, and Regina is somebody who absolutely shares our vision for that. So when we say independent, we mean independent. We are doing this ourselves, and we are doing this for the sanctity of Canada and the cleanliness of candidate. Because one thing we felt you should never ask, regardless of where they are on the political spectrum, who is this candidate owned by? Where do they have their corporate deals? We're telling you flat out, Regina Dentata has no corporate deals, which means no corporate oversight, which means we can work uncorrupt for you, the Canadian people.
Exactly. Party slogan, obviously, dancing on the lip of madness. You and I both know there is no better lip of madness than the lip of the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Party colors, black and gold. No one else is using black and gold. We grabbed black and gold. Also, I mean, just look at this outfit.
Yeah.
Black and gold.
It is
black,
bedazzled.
Penguin, already black, gold, fantastic. It all works. Didn't you? The medals were gold. They worked.
Yeah.
Can't deny it. And fashion.
Absolutely.
You saw our images. You saw the images that we're using. Fashion, fashion, fashion. That is what we're going with. And finally, we need a banger of a campaign song. And we do.
We are proud to release it as of today, Reggie's Fall Election Show.
Mm-hmm.
It is an original, fully owned, fully curated song that has been approved by Regina Dentata herself, who has listened to this song and believes it to be a linchpin of her as a prime minister and a ministerial candidate. When you hear that song, and we heavily suggest you do, it is available for a free download right now. You will also feel not only why Regina Dentata is the candidate, why she is the only candidate for you.
Now then, I suppose you're wondering, are we going to have a mascot?
Absolutely.
Of course we are. Who do you take us for? Belvedere the bodacious badass beaver. Keep my country's name out of your motherfucking mouths. Yes, this was generated by AI. Once again, we are a free production. We have zero budget. If you want to make fan art and let us use it or something,
absolutely,
we will give you full credit. But this is Belvedere the bodacious badass beaver.
Yeah.
And yes, he is French Canadian.
So you may be asking yourself, why, oh why, the noble Canadian beaver? Let me tell you, there are very few symbols that work as well as a goose riding a moose. However, Belvedere, the bodacious badass beaver, absolutely fills those bills. He is hardworking, honest, trustworthy, and has no filter, much like the hardest working Canadians working those jobs you absolutely cannot stand. We are true north, strong and free, and nothing symbolizes that more than Belvedere.
And if anyone is going to build a dam big enough to block our lake water from going to the States, it's this badass beaver.
Absolutely.
He is prepared. Now, we've spoken about the advisor, but I don't think we've spoken enough. And we also haven't told you little Crabsworth Nason's title. So, The Honorable Trapdoor Crabsworth, wisest of the fools, Lord of the Isle of Fools, formerly known as Victoria Island. And by the way, wisest of the fools, I looked that up. It is an actual title that was used. So ha ha ha, ha ha ha, if you think I made it up. No, I didn't. I found it.
You had to go with the ha 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 ha.
Exactly. Now, what do we know about Crabsworth? Policy expert. This is a penguin with a master's degree in public policy.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
So when you take a look at public policy, you think to yourself, not only how does it work, but how does it interconnect with other policies? There are policies in this board that are quite simply increase the Canada Health Transfer, increase the Canada Social Transfer, and put restrictions to ensure that that money does not get funneled into other things. Why is that in there? Because quite frankly, you need to know how policies can interconnect with one another and how some policies have previously been misconstrued to allow for things like a spa to be built within the province of Ontario from public funds.
Sassy.
Bitch, you ain't coming to Trapdoor Crabsworth without a good plan. Otherwise, Trapdoor Crabsworth is going to bite your ass out of the building.
He knows his place.
So, number one, I am a policy advisor to Prime Minister Regina Dentata. I am not the Prime Minister, and nor do I really have any real aspirations to be. Not only will I be destroyed by the wrath of Mary Witch if I were to ever go against this plan, but also I do not want the pressure that comes with being the most powerful person in the soon-to-be most powerful country in the world. And quite frankly, Regina is up for that task, and I have nothing but support for her. We have seen in the past where top policy advisors, such as a Paul Martin, indirectly led to the downfall of the Chrétien government and the rise of evangelicalism within the Conservative Party because nobody could beat the fun, entertaining Jean Chrétien.
Exactly. Now, this is a key one. Never forgives or forgets a bad legislator. So, I don't know if you know this about me. I remember big picture stuff. If I want to remember minute detail, it takes a lot of repetition for me. So, I'm discovering things in our massive research project phase for this, and then I go and I talk to you about it, and you'd be like, "Yes, I know." And I'd be like,
Yep.
"And it connects to this," and you're like, "Yes,
Yes,
I remember."
know.
I'm like, "How the hell do you remember this? This is from 20 years ago." Because I never forget.
I remember the original overture policy or apology from Stephen Harper to the 2008 Indigenous Circle, and then the procedure to do absolutely nothing about it other than say we're sorry. So at the end of the day, it was a brilliant overture, but it came off as the cable company. You know the one I'm talking about. The one rubbing their nipples and saying, "Oh, we're sorry. Sorry." And it felt like even more of a slap in the face to the Indigenous peoples. On top
Speaking
of
of
that,
slapping,
oh, I'm glad you brought that up, because when it comes right down to it, how many people, show of hands, would like to slap puppet President Karen Trump right now? We are putting in provisions to the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms to allow for a slap-a-bitch of that magnitude. Why? Because you need to eventually slap a bitch. It allows for them to wake up, feel 1 second of brief embarrassment, and potentially reset their brain. Slaps work, people.
Yep.
Have you ever heard that song, Glove Slap, I Don't Take Crap?
It's true. Now, I assume you all want to know more about the platform, and like I said, videos are coming. Don't you worry. But I thought I would show you our platform. It's a very Canadian and reinforced platform, don't you think?
Absolutely. This is a platform that is important not only to the lives of people, but to the lives of Canadians. So basically, the first thing I've already spoken to, we're going to increase funding and heighten restrictions on the Canadian Health Transfer and the Canada Social Transfer. Why? Because these are great policies. These are great transfers, and they're great offloading of responsibility to provincial governments. This is why we have them. They're on the ground floor for their provinces. They allow for certain things that the federal government you would not want in, because the oversight that is required to run them is not there. However, we have seen the corruption of that, particularly within the province of Ontario, which is why we're looking to heighten restrictions. Flat out. A basic literacy task force. I think you can speak to this one much better than I can, because you love the task force.
I do love the task force. Like this is about education consistency. This is about not just being able to read, but to comprehend, to critique, and also it's not about proving your point. It is about proving a point that is actually backed up by the facts. It's understanding an author's perspective, not imposing your own upon it. What is the actual meaning? And they are going to come in and make sure you learn it, people. Here's your big one.
Yes. So this was something that I wanted into the party platform as a condition of being Regina Dentata's policy advisor. Surprisingly, she was on board with it. And the reason why I say surprisingly is because proportional representation has shown to do a bunch of different things. One of them being to dramatically increase the percentage of voting in any country it's used in. Why? Because the vote actually matters. Because a popular vote actually matters. You may not get the representative you want within your riding, but you will get the representative that you want that can dole out policy to the elected officials within your riding. Proportional representation is a great system. The problem is it almost always guarantees a minority government, because you actually need over 50% of the vote to get a majority government. And no politician in their right mind right now would ever do something that can effectively limit their power.
But like we said,
Yeah.
Reggie has no ties to anything.
Yeah.
Reggie gives no fucks. Denial of corporate loopholes.
I think you all know what this means.
Yeah. And I think a big thing, a big factor is that I find a lot of people forget is Canada as a country was not established to be a country. It was established to be a reservoir of resources, which means corporations have taken advantage for decades, a couple hundred years. It's nuts. Denial of these corporate loopholes. I also want to point out something. It is actually more affordable for a corporation to pay more in taxes to go towards increasing healthcare coverage for things such as glasses, physiotherapy, dental, and psychological help than it is for them to pay into a private insurance company or to provide a employee family assistance program. It is actually more affordable for them to do these taxes.
Yep.
So, if you care about numbers, there you go. This was a big one for you.
Yes, universal basic income. So one of the biggest things, particularly that has been done by the federal Liberals and stress tested within Ontario under provincial Liberal leadership, is the idea of universal basic income. It allows a certain baseline level regardless of age, race, ability, or disability, allowing people to be able to live within the country. This in of itself has been derided by individuals as being a Marxist policy. It has also been derided by individuals who, quite rightly, I would argue, believe that universal basic income can lead to, well, let's just say, an increased amount of inflation. It can, but it won't, because of the restrictions placed upon corporate inflation. And if you have universal basic income with corporate inflation to a certain point, that point has not been adequately stress tested as of yet, but it can lead to overall happiness and well-being. Now, I bet you're thinking to yourself, what about persons with disabilities? Absolutely, they require certain things, which is why I state I'm a policy bird of equity. Those people can get additional funds added to their universal basic income due to the nature of their disability and the nature of their accommodations that they need to live and or work effectively. Universal basic income in of itself is a very, very much Marxist policy, but I would argue it is a Marxist policy that we require right now to be able to function as a society with a baseline level of happiness and well-being.
Better classroom ratio caps. Not a lot of people know this, but you can go up to 40 students to one teacher in a lot of public schools across a lot of different boards. And it has been proven that the biggest thing that can help with education is to have a smaller teacher to student ratio. The expectations that we have on teachers in this country are literally insane if you're going to expect them to do that with upwards of 40 students. We need to use better classroom ratio caps, because then what we're giving back is time to focus, time to tailor work, time to actually get to know the students, time to actually ensure that they are getting the additional supports that they need, time for early intervention. We've gotten much better at this, but I think that we can do even better. The gold standard.
The gold standard. Before the days of Reagan economics, the gold standard was utilized to limit effectively, I might add, very effectively, limit inflation. It acquired wealth equivalent to the level of gold, or the financial ability of gold. When Reagan deregulated that standard, it sent the economy into a tailspin. As far as Canada is concerned, the gold standard is required for inflation. Not only will we begin to adopt it, but we will also push for it in international affairs.
Exactamundo. The Accessibility for Canadians Task Force. Now, we want to increase accessibility.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. I think it's better for you all to see the video on this, because I think that the visuals, like, AI does a lot of weird things, but we think that it actually understood our vision for this in a way that no one else could. And once again, we say we are using AI for fun and for free. We are not selling these images. We are not profiting off of these images. Nothing like that is happening. And we couldn't have afforded someone to draw stuff like this anyway. But we also want to point out that AI right now is very weird in its generation. And for some reason, it worked out really well. So I encourage you to see our video on the A of heads to really understand what we're talking about there, because it does it beautifully. Now, I do want to say, I bet a lot of people are wondering, but you talked about sexy. You talked about all these sexy lessons. You talked about sexy scandals. What are you going to do? Well, we have 2 sexy scandals. We find that dance is very underutilized in today's day-to-day society.
It truly is.
So for that reason, we introduce you with the first sexy scandal.
The kalimba.
Yes.
The original dance of sex and lust.
This is the dangerous dance. The dance where people can die doing it or fall pregnant. And obviously this was done by time-traveling Regina Dentata when she went to see Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Not going to deny it. Justin Trudeau may have had a really weird stepmother had history gone a different way.
You mean it didn't? Regina and Justin, they've got some similarities.
Now, I will say this. They are the only Canadian couple that we know on record who managed to do this dance without everyone in the audience falling pregnant. I don't know if it was by intention, by design, or if they did something wrong. But either way...
Now, I believe that Pierre Elliott Trudeau actually wore a chastity belt.
To prevent everyone from falling pregnant?
Well, to prevent Regina from falling pregnant, thusly preventing everyone else from falling pregnant.
Yeah. So,
the last I heard, chastity belts in Ottawa were free around the time of the Carimbo's heyday, just to ensure that politicians could actually go feel the dance, feel the eroticism of it, but feel free to not fall pregnant.
Because you know what we care about? It's safety.
Absolutely.
Now, what about a more current sexy scandal? Well, we know there is a former prime minister who is currently single. Sango with Trudeau.
Yeah.
Now we can't risk everybody in the audience getting pregnant, so that's why we can't do the Carimbo. We simply cannot risk it. And chastity belts aren't free anymore, people. But what we can do...
I love the fact that Regina Dentata has somehow rotated her head about 360 degrees, or 180 degrees.
It's her magic. I love this outfit. I have no... Yeah, once again, this is what we mean. AI is unhinged. Look at this, Union Jack Canadian flag in the background. But look at this Canadian tuxedo. Look at this, romper dress thing going on. If I can say there are two goals that I have with this campaign. One goal is to have a humorous debate on CBC with Crabsworth trying to ensure that Reggie has a Beyonce air fan effect on her hair and doing other things in the background that get progressively more and more unhinged. And then the second one is to have Reggie and Justin Trudeau actually do a tango on Dancing with the Stars. We might have to video it in because it's risky going down to the States, but ABC has the money. I think we can do it. And I think it would be great. And personally, I think that Canadians need this right now. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to say this.
I agree.
Okay, good. So we've got our sexy scandals, guys. We've got a solid platform. You will be seeing the videos coming out over the course of April and May. And then what we're probably going to do is there is going to be some ongoing stuff. Prime Minister, we'll keep up with the prime ministers. We'll talk about how do you actually get your political party to join the race properly and what's involved there. And I think by that point, we're going to do a bit of a wrap up on the project.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is our big denouement is coming out, and we are very excited about it. And we've actually had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Even on those 2 recording days of all the prime ministers, that was absolute death to get through.
Oh, God.
There was so much to get through. We very much appreciate you coming on to this journey. We're in the final leg now. We hope you've enjoyed it. You continue to enjoy it. As always, huge thank you to Jerry in Kazakhstan.
Thank you, Jerry!
You'll see those videos as soon as someone named Trapdoor Crabsworth gets me the audio.
Okay, all right. Calm down.
You have any last words to say?
First of all, calm down. We've got plenty of time. And I would just like to say to everyone, thank you so much for coming on this journey with us. And I would like to say that
ouch! Bring Crabsworth back! Crabsworth, come back!
All right, hello.
Crabsworth, you get the final word and not that asshole.
All right. So before I take my final word, I believe that Polly Pocket here has something that is absolutely imperative to the foundation of the party. So hang on just a second here while I bring her back in. No, she's cool. Are you sure? She's scary. No, she's cool. Trust me. Okay, so I would like to say after seeing that candidate for the Death Pixie Party, I, PP, would like to resign from the Conservative Party. Because, like, I'm sorry, she is bedazzled, okay? I could go to my corporate sponsors and be like, give me billions and billions of dollars. And they said, well, okay, but you have to fuck about 30 million Canadians once you get in. And even then, they couldn't make me that bedazzled. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that, you know, you guys are gonna need like a housing minister who won't do anything. That's my bread and butter. That's where I got my moves from. And you know, having never written a piece of legislation in my life, I'm genuinely scared of this woman. She's scary. Like, seriously. So I would just like to bow out of the race now. If you're looking for a housing minister, call me. Love yous. And on that note, I would like to say thank you to everybody. We are very, very happy to go on to this journey with you, and we hope that you'll stick with us as we reveal Death Pixie's campaign. And we've got some other wonderful things planned, depending on how the political landscape shapes up here as to what we need. But thank you all so much for coming on this journey with us. And if you need us, contact us at deathpixiecollective@gmail.com.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye!
Death Pixie Disclaimer. This video was originally recorded in March and April of 2025. There is swearing and profanity. Sources are listed in the description. This video is not monetized. Any ads you see provide revenue to the hosting site and not the creators. If you made it this far, geez, you have a lot of patience.
Death Pixie dancing on the lip of madness.
Welcome to Shitty PowerPoint Theater. Dignity not included.